store to see my old friend Bob. I said my roof it leaks, my rug's a mess, and my front door needs a new knob. I got squirrels in my attic, I got bats in my head. Well, Bob just leaned over the counter and he shook his head and said, "You need home repairs and solutions. Home repairs and solutions. They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house, they'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home repairs and solutions."
This is the Ask the Professional series on this Friday afternoon, the Home Repairs and Solutions Show, brought to you by Spring Mountain Air, your local Amana dealer. And now here's Mary and Mark.
You know, I don't know what clock you're looking at, but I think
say
it's
afternoon?
you said afternoon.
Oh, it is morning.
I thought, boy, something's happened here. Yeah. Yeah, boy, we're kind of worried about you there, Gary, you know.
I'm used to working the afternoon shows. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Morning.
Good morning, everybody.
I can't hear Mary. Is Mary on?
Uh-oh.
Hello.
You gotta turn me on here.
Oh, there you are.
I'm on
I
now.
got you now.
Okay.
I couldn't hear you. I was getting a little worried about that, too, you know. So.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to see you.
Oh, it's nice to see you.
I saw you on TV this morning.
You know, I've had people already text me and this, that, and the other, telling me that they saw us on TV and how neat it was. And
You did a great job.
well, thank you.
Great job. Yeah.
Well, I
See,
appreciate
and
that.
You told everyone you just had a face for radio, but that's not true.
Yeah, you know, like I was saying earlier, I'm kind of shy, as you know, but you know, when the camera come on, I just kind of come out of my shell.
You
like this,
did.
you know.
You were like a whole new person, Mark.
Oh yeah, no doubt. So, I want to say right now, KY3 has been tremendous over the last 7 years that we've done our Convoy of Hope fundraiser, and they're so nice over there. Maria Nider I consider Maria a friend, even though we see each other just usually once a year. But they're so gracious to let us come on there and talk about the Convoy of Hope fundraiser and help us out there. So I really appreciate them folks over there.
And that's tomorrow.
It is tomorrow, yes. River Bluff Fellowship, which is just between 65 Highway and Springfield Lake on Evans Road. And, wow, we've got 10 or 11 bands set to play. The show starts at 2, doors open at 1. And the neat thing about this is it all goes to Convoy of Hope. You know, I got one band or gentleman. He is the Christian Country Entertainer of the Year. He lives in Atlanta, Georgia. He's flying in for this and not getting paid a dime.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, so I have groups coming from out in Oklahoma, St. Louis, several local bands here, and they're all donating their time and talent to help us raise money for Convoy. And, you know, there's a special place in my heart for Convoy of Hope and the Breast Cancer Foundation of the Ozarks. That's my two charities that I love to help. And Convoy is just an amazing bunch of people there.
Yes, they are. So if you don't have anything scheduled tomorrow or you're looking for something to do, it's still going to be kind of cold tomorrow.
Yeah.
Not real good day to be out running around outside too much. So that'd be a great place to go.
Yes, and Come Hungry, Backyard Burgers is going to be there providing us our concessions tomorrow, thanks to the Greater Ozarks Bluegrass Society for setting that up for us. And, man, we're just going to have a great day of music, and there's going to be some hardcore traditional bluegrass, some more contemporary bluegrass. There's going to be gospel. It's just a little bit for everybody.
Yep. And it's what, $10 admission?
$10 donation at the door. If you want to give more, we'll sure take it.
Yep.
And
because all the funds go to Convoy
all
of
the
Hope.
funds go to Convoy Hope, and you know, believe it or not, we do have some people that will come and they'll throw a $50 or $100 bill down, and you know, because they know that's where it all goes to. My buddy Gene Reasoner and I that do this. My family started this concert back about 7 years ago, and the last few years, Gene and I have kind of taken it over. And, you know, Gene and I, we work through the year putting this together. We don't take a dime for it. It all goes to Convoy. So,
Well, that's a great thing you do, Mark.
and I appreciate you, Mary, for letting me talk about things like that on the
Absolutely.
program here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, all of that goes to, well, this is a home repairs and solutions show. And, you know, sometimes the solution is you need help.
You do, and that's one thing. And we talked about touched on this morning on KY3. The fact that a lot of the money of what Convoy's doing, they're still trying to help up there in with the hurricane that happened up in New York and up there
The
on
Sandy,
or
whatever they
whatever
called
it was, and but that people lose their homes. They lose their homes
They
to
lose everything
disasters.
sometimes. Yeah.
And when a disaster like that happens, whether it's down in Branson like we experienced a year ago,
Mm-hmm.
or it's in New York, or it's in New Orleans, or it's in Haiti, or wherever, Convoy of Hope is usually the first ones on the ground
Yeah.
to provide assistance to those people. And so it's not only local, it's worldwide. They're a worldwide organization, but they help the folks right here in the Ozarks
Mm-hmm.
just as much. If we have a disaster here, Convoy of Hope is there to help. And and it has to do with us losing our homes and our possessions and stuff, and the ability to have food and water. And they try to help take up that slack. And that's why it's so important to me to help them out, because of what they do for our folks near and wide.
I agree, and I'm proud that they're part of the Ozarks right here.
Yes, I am too.
So
I am too. So, well, we have a special guest on the program
we
today.
certainly do. As a matter of fact, he was on the show years ago
Yes,
with
he
you.
was. That's right.
So it's been a while. So why don't you go ahead and introduce him to everybody?
Well, John Felt is our guest, and I've known John now for I'm guessing probably 20 years at least.
Probably close to that, yes.
Close to that. I don't remember what we were selling when you were on the show before, when it was through Herman Lumber. But I got acquainted with you through some of our suppliers that we used.
I think it was composite deck material
I
at
think
the time.
I think you're right on that. But you've since ventured out into your own business.
Yes, I have.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Name of our company is All American Windows and Doors,
Mm-hmm.
and we primarily offer residential replacement windows and doors, and we strive to work with the customer to meet their individual needs and to meet. Every house is different. Every person's an individual. Every house fits the individual's needs,
Sure.
and sometimes it's just basic. We go in with vinyl replacement windows. They just want to upgrade the efficiency of the
Mm-hmm.
home. But a lot of times people are concerned about the architectural appearance of the house or curb
Mm-hmm.
appeal, as a lot of people say. We want to maintain the integrity of the architectural design, whether
Sure.
it's craftsman or colonial or
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case may be. We can help with design and that, and keep the architectural integrity of the house while improving the
Mm-hmm. Sure.
efficiency of the home.
Right. And it's nice that, of course, you've been in the business basically for years. So you knew what was out there, you knew where to go get it, and now you're not only you're able to apply that and to
Right.
help folks out, and you're a local business, and that's of course what we like here. And we're like,
That's I appreciate you having me and having a chance to talk about our business and just let people know that there's other options besides. I think a lot of people have a misconception when they hear about replacement windows. They think just vinyl.
yeah,
And not every. I mean, vinyl meets a need. Don't
Sure.
get me wrong. And we
Right.
do a lot of vinyl windows, and they're a great product. But there's also we do a lot of wood replacement windows too.
Right.
Clad windows, clad exterior with wood interior.
Right.
Because there's a lot of homes in this area that have stained woodwork, and
sure,
they want to keep that look inside the house. And that's not a look you always get with vinyl. Some people are fine with that, but a lot of people want to keep that look as they make changes and improve. So,
right.
So we offer that.
And windows can make such a difference.
Oh, my
and you,
gosh,
you know,
yeah.
in the economy, as far as saving energy, on your utility
Mm-hmm.
bills and stuff, it's amazing. What new windows will do.
Yeah, and not only efficiency, but usually the first comment we get immediately, because they're not going to get a utility bill for a month or so.
Sure. Yeah.
But is the sound too? It really the new windows and the insulated glass and it really cuts down on the sound that they hear from the outside.
Right.
Some people complain; they want to hear the birds singing and
Sure.
their outdoor
Yeah.
noises. But a lot of people are very happy; they're not hearing the cars
Right.
going by and the
Right.
trains going by. So.
Sure.
So there's a lot of improvements that come with replacing your windows.
Do you see more and more? And before we get to that, let's go ahead and give the numbers out in case somebody would
That's
like to
a
ask
good
John
idea.
a question. I think they ought to know the numbers here.
They should.
Yeah, 862-9977, 1-800-375-0056. Or if you don't want to talk on the radio, you can send me a text at 417-838-3192, and we'll read your question on the air. And so,
And answer it for you.
and answer it for. Won't just
Yeah.
read it. We'll try to answer it
We'll
too.
try and answer it, too.
So, but what I was going to ask, are you seeing more and more people that, our economy has not been the greatest? People that was thinking about, yeah, we're going to, build a new house. They've kind of backed off of that and decided to go through and upgrade their house with new doors and windows.
Right.
Are you seeing that
Yeah,
quite
you're-
often?
You're absolutely right. That's a big trend right now. I think we're seeing more than anything is people have decided they're staying where they're at. They like their house. I mean, everybody would like to have a new house, but
Sure.
right now, that's probably not feasible with the economy and all. But so people are upgrading and doing the best they can to make their house more energy efficient and update. I mean, houses. Let's face it. I mean, there's been so many changes in the building industry and new product offerings that really change the looks of a house. People
Right.
are interested in updating their homes.
Yeah. And I know, a few weeks ago we had Kevin from Crosstech, the siding. And by the way, we have all of the siding up on the new house that we did that we're doing out there in Sheila Ridge and Republic. And it's just amazing. So you can put new siding on your house. And like I say, there's some really neat products out there. It's not just the old, back a few years ago, we had the option of masonite siding or then the hardy siding come on the market, which is something different, but vinyl. I mean,
Right.
now we have some really neat products out there. So why not do that with your windows and doors too?
Right. Right. Oh yeah, there's all those options, and something that brings up another point. Some people are afraid to talk about replacements if they have a brick home. They
Sure.
They don't
Yeah.
understand that but it can be done, and we can do it very efficiently and quite easily. So that don't count yourself out just because you have a brick home. We don't
Right.
necessarily. Very seldom do we have to pull any of that brick or stone off the house.
Sure.
We can do 95% of those replacements without disturbing the exterior.
Yeah.
So the only thing we run into sometimes, a vinyl sided house, sometimes we have to pull the vinyl back around the windows. There's just no way around it.
Right.
But, usually with brick and stone, it's very doable, very manageable. So
Right.
we're not afraid of that at all.
What's the newest thing that's come out in Windows here lately that has impressed you?
Well, there's just been over the last, it's been evolving. The glass technology probably has been the biggest improvement, and I'm not a big government person, but actually, they've driven some of the energy efficiency that is the improvements
Sure.
in Windows. They're requiring better U values. That's what the energy tax credit was all about a few years ago. You had to have a minimum of a 0.30 or lower on a U
Sure.
value, and I think that's coming up again, where Energy Star is going to start requiring a better rating on U values, and U is opposite of R. I mean, just kind of in layman terms, U values, you're looking at, just to keep it simple, keep heat and air out. R values keep heat and air in.
Yeah.
So they're trying to lower those U values, so there's
Right.
less heat and cold transfer. And I think they're going to start incrementally making stronger requirements on that over the next several years. And but that, and it's an overall unit rating. It's not just the glass; it's the overall performance of the units. So it's making and challenging window manufacturers to come out with a better product,
Right.
better product, and even a more efficient product.
Sure.
So that's probably the biggest changes, and I think consumers are driving a lot of ideas. Different. Mark, you probably remember, 20 years ago when you got grills for a window, it was just rectangular, square
right.
grills.
Yeah,
Now you've
exactly.
got, let your imagination run wild
Yeah.
with CAD programs and all the tooling they have now. They can do custom grill patterns, which some
Sure.
people really like for their house. Depends on the architectural design and interior options, like on the wood windows, we can do alder, we can do oak, we can do maple. I mean, there's just all kinds of different interiors, and you don't have to do that throughout the whole house. If your kitchen in your dining area, has alder cabinets and that type of thing, we can do alder windows in that area. and
Really?
doors.
Wow.
And and so it kind of ties in with the rest of the house.
Cool. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So there's a lot of neat options.
Yeah.
Like I said, consumers drive, I think, the marketplace anymore
Sure.
a lot more than they used to.
Right.
And so it's made a lot of changes.
What's the most efficient window you can put in? Is it like a triple pane or a double pane, or what determines the efficiency of the window?
Some of it, double pane to triple pane is kind of regional. Triple pane is probably the most efficient, but it costs quite a bit more. And really, for our region, it's a little bit of overkill. I mean, some people that's
Right.
what they want. They've come from up north or out west, and triple pane is kind of the standard, sort of like double pane is here. Yes, it is more efficient, but to weigh it out, the cost versus the extra efficiency for our region, and you can look that up online too under Energy Star maybe or NFRC, the ratings comparing the two. I mean, it's a good upsell in the industry, but really it's probably not totally necessary for our area.
We actually did put triple pane in our sunroom in Nixa, only in the sunroom area, and they were huge windows.
When they're heavy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they were real heavy, and they were huge. We did have a lifetime warranty on them, and they actually did come out and replace 2 or 3 of them because, we cracked one with a rock one time and some things like that. So we did have a lifetime warranty, but it made a huge difference in that
Oh, yeah.
sunroom
Yeah.
because we faced the south,
Yep.
and so it really reduced the heat that would penetrate through that glass in the summertime.
And that's something it's so easy to do, and I don't know if everybody, when they're at a home talking to a potential client about options for their house, I mean, we can do different types of glazing or insulating packages for certain parts of the house, depending on exposure
yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah. So I mean, you're not just because we did triple pane in your sunroom doesn't mean we have to do it through the whole house.
No, we didn't.
But-
yeah, we just
Yeah.
did it in the sunroom, yeah. And then we did double in the rest of the house
Yeah.
because we ended up replacing all the windows. That's something, that really, as a homeowner, I didn't think about a lot. But, windows and doors have a lifetime expectancy, too. I mean, they don't last forever. And then one day I was going home from work, and I drove up to the driveway, and I noticed our big window in our living room, the bottom of it, because it was wood, had rotted enough that it came loose. And it was just kind of flapping there, and I was like, okay, we have a problem here. And so, over time, that's something that you do have to look into replacing to keep your home safe and efficient and all that to live in. And
Yeah, most of the homes built up until the early 80s were probably a primed wood window.
that's what ours was,
And,
yeah.
Homes that we see that have wider overhangs, wider soffits, and where the windows are more protected, they're usually in good shape. Houses where maintenance was performed, they kept up with the painting and caulking. Those windows are in pretty good shape, but the weather and the sun just takes its toll after a while on wood
That was on the
windows.
north side of our house, and so
Yeah.
it got all of the wet and cold.
Yep.
It
It
all
never dries out.
Yeah.
and
You
it
get
did
a lot
dry.
of
And
mold,
so
and you get
and
Yeah.
so it just eventually it just was bad enough that it just actually came completely loose
Yep.
away from the casing and everything. And I was like, whoa,
Yep.
Yeah.
this ain't good.
We see that quite a bit, and and window replacement's not a inexpensive proposition. So
No.
it's something we try to work within people's budgets and what they need. I mean, we don't have to go out and do a whole house at once. If it's only in your budget to do half the windows now and half a year from now, we'll work with you on that.
And it
It's-
will make a difference.
Oh, it will.
Even if you can do, like if you have to do it in stages, because one thing we noticed, it greatly reduced the noise because we were right there on CC Highway, and so we had traffic noise. Well, then that pretty much went away, and it also just made the house warmer. We got rid of all those drafts and all that kind of stuff that were coming through those older windows, and then, like I said, in the sunroom that faced the south, it was a night and day difference out there because it was always too hot in the summer, too cold in the winter. You couldn't, we had single pane windows out there, and then we went to the triple pane. It was just, we actually could use the room then, at that point. So.
All right. Something that I know a lot of folks that this happened to, and it's one of my pet peeves in the window business, is there is some companies out there that will come out and they'll give you estimates and they tell you about their lifetime warranty on the windows and yada, yada, yada. And then they offer you their fine and dandy finance plan, this, that, and the other. And you really need to watch out.
Yes, you do.
But-
Windows are expensive, but they shouldn't be that expensive.
You know,
that you have to mortgage your house for. 'em.
Sure, and
And I always encourage people, whether it's me or any other company, please get other estimates.
Yeah.
Talk to other people, and do not let them make you sign while they're at your
yeah,
house.
exactly.
I mean, I don't know. I think just consumer beware on that.
Sure.
And I encourage all of our customers to get other bids.
Uh-huh.
I think it's just smart. You have to do that and have to
Sure.
be honest with people. And somebody might give them a better idea than I gave them. I mean, that's just, I don't
Sure.
know. I'm all for fair practice. So.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, I know like I say, run into this a few times, and even when I was working in the lumber business, I'd have people come in and say, hey, can you give me an estimate on these windows? And I would, and they said, well, you're a lot cheaper than this so and so company, and I usually wouldn't even have to see their bid. I could ask them how many windows they had, and I could tell them usually to the dollar amount what this other, these places would quote them, because I knew they were sometimes quoting $1,000 to $1,200 a window, and that's just ridiculous. Yeah, but they finance. Well, figure how much you're going to be paying over the years if you do that. Now, some people, they have to, and I'm not saying all companies that do that are bad. I'm not saying that at all. But like you said, get other estimates. There's a lot of people out there that claim they have great products. And what I always found funny is I went to toured 2 or 3 different brands of vinyl window manufacturers. A lot of them get their vinyl from the same.
Yeah, there's extruders out there that
Yeah.
sell. Not all vinyl window companies extrude their own vinyl.
Right,
There's
exactly.
extruding companies, and that's all
Yeah,
they do.
that's
is sell
all they do.
extrusions to window companies.
So you'd be surprised some of these companies that use the same vinyl.
Same
and
glass.
Same glass.
Comes from the same manufacturer.
Yeah.
Possibly with different names, different series.
Sure,
They'll tie a different
yeah.
name to a different
Right,
series of window,
right.
but it's the same manufacturer.
Yeah.
And that's the thing in vinyl windows. When you're getting prices, you'll see a huge disparity in pricing, and it shouldn't be. I mean, vinyl windows they're good, but they're not that expensive.
Right.
I mean, everybody has to make a living, and
Yeah.
but everybody deserves to be treated fairly.
Sure. Oh, yeah, absolutely. 862-9977, 1-800-375-0056, or send us a text at 417-838-3192 and let us know what's going on. This is Home Repairs and Solutions. So we'll talk about your home. We'll talk about repair. We'll talk about replacing your windows and doors today. We'll talk about heating and air, whatever you want to talk about.
Whatever's going on.
That's right. So
We're pretty easy like that.
we are. We're pretty laid back and easy. So, and I do hear that music, and you know what that means?
That means it's time for us to take a break already.
I know. Wow, this half
It will
hour's
be
gone
afternoon pretty
fast.
soon.
Yeah, it will, Gary. This is Home Repairs and Solutions. We'll be back right after this. Said you need home repairs and solutions. Home repairs and solutions. They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house, they'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home repairs and solutions.
Here's news on the Ozarks News Network. Investigators are now saying that 2 children found dead after a fire in a home in North Springfield were strangled to death. 4-year-old Noah and 2-year-old Lily Adams were found dead after a fire in their home in the 1400 block of North Texas. The children's mother, 27-year-old Jassis Sager, was also found dead in the home. She may have died from injuries not related to the fire. A high-speed chase overnight led officers from Republic to Springfield. It ended near Sycamore and Michigan when the driver was arrested. At times, the chase reached speeds of 80 miles per hour. And First Lady Michelle Obama praised Walmart and other retailers for making healthier foods available and more affordable. The First Lady made her comments as she toured the Walmart neighborhood market at Glenstone and Bennett. For the Ozarks News Network, I'm Arlen Summers.
Hi, this is Jim James. Join Diana Loftus-Wheeler and me on Saturday at 11 a.m. for Through the Grapevine on KWTO AM 560. We will discuss all things wine with local and national wine industry experts. It's fun, it's informative, and it's live from the Hilton Garden Inn. So join us at the Hilton Garden Inn or listen live on KWTO AM 560 Saturday at 11 a.m. as we discuss and taste wines from Wine Style.
We do see a flurry or two through the evening hours. Otherwise, it'll be cloudy and cold. High of 36, low of 21 tonight. Sunny skies return, but it remains cold tomorrow. High of 36, low down to 19 for tomorrow night. Sunday and Monday will be sunny and warmer both days. Sunday's high 49, Monday's high again near 50. Then it will turn cloudy and cooler on Tuesday. The high drops down to 40. I'm AccuWeather's Jason Lord.
Well, I went down to the hardware store to see
Welcome
old
back.
friend Bob.
We're back with Home Repairs and Solutions. This will be the second half of the show today, and we have a caller on hold.
Yes, we do. From the great state of Arkansas.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hello.
Go ahead, Lou.
Yeah, my question deals with siding. I just tuned in. I heard somebody talking about vinyl siding. My house is aluminum, and I'm wondering what's happening in the aluminum siding field. Maybe you've already discussed it. I'm not sure, but my question is, isn't aluminum a little bit more sturdy than plastic? Because you always get those holes and things like that in plastic. And my preference is that, and is it still available?
You know, I know aluminum siding is still available. I mean, I see the advertisements on TV and stuff about it. And they do a lot of what they call the seamless, whereas vinyl, will come in, 10, 12-foot pieces, I guess. 12 foot is what it used to. And yes, vinyl, after time, to me, it gets a little brittle. And you will knock holes in it with a weed eater if you're not careful and stuff
Or the
like that.
lawnmower.
Or the lawnmower. Last time I checked, aluminum siding was pretty expensive. Do you ever run into aluminum siding, John?
Oh, yeah, we see it, I think, more and more. I mean, I won't say it's predominant or anything.
Right.
But it is a good product. It's more structural than vinyl. The UV rate, the sun will not break down the aluminum siding.
Sure.
And that's the main problem with vinyl is the UV.
I didn't catch that. What was the breakdown on aluminum?
Well, it's becoming more predominant, starting to see more of it. And it just lasts a lot better. It's fairly, I don't think you can call it a structural product, but it is more structural than vinyl. And vinyl can be broken down by the sun, by the UV rays.
Okay, now there is no real benefit one way or another as to the insulation value, is there?
Not typically, no. It more depends what's behind it than the product itself. What type of insulation is on the exterior of the house before you put the siding on.
Right. Okay, that answers my question. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Lou.
And the what we were talking about a while ago, the Crosstech, and it's a cement-based siding with the styrofoam already in it, and it adds. I want to say, he told us what the R value was. I think it was like a 9.
I think so, something like that. Yeah.
Well, when we put it on the house that we're building right now, it was amazing. We've had the furnace on. The furnace kicks on, warms the house up, and I mean it just don't kick back on for quite a while. And the sound in there, you just do not hear anything. It's so quiet and peaceful in that house. It's just amazing. So, you were right. What you put behind that is going to make a big difference. If you just take, if it's vinyl siding or aluminum, whatever, and stick it to the old siding, you're not getting very much right there.
Yeah, or old practices. I mean, it happened a lot everywhere, not just Springfield, but, they just use half-inch insulation board and put siding over that, and, oh my gosh, there's virtually nothing there.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
And there's so many things, especially on new construction, there's so many things that you could do. Matter of fact, Jeremy Atchley, when he's on the program, he talks a lot about what you can do if you're building a new house to, keep the air out and stuff. That's a big part of it. And so there's a lot of things that you can do.
Just like window industry. I mean, there's wonderful new products, the zip wall system. I mean, your air and water infiltration rates are very, very minimal with that type of system. And there's so many improvements. Granted, it adds cost to the house, but
sure.
I mean, most people, again, consumer beware, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for a good house that's, you don't want to say totally tight because that can cause other issues, but you want a good house that's, properly insulated and sided. And I mean, there's proper ways to install all building products. And believe it or not, just doing windows and doors, we see so many things that just make us cringe. You know, that like, oh my gosh, if this is happening here, what's happening in other places of the house? So it's
exactly.
Yeah.
I was going to say, we haven't given out the name of your company.
Yes.
Well, All American Windows and Doors.
Okay. All America's Windows and Doors. And what is your phone number, John?
It's 417-353-0865.
Okay. See, sometimes we get busy talking
We
and we don't
do.
give that
We
information
don't give
out,
that-
and then people don't know how to get a hold of you, John. Someone might need new windows
They'll
today.
find us. That's right.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
the
right.
last week or two has been a good test for your windows.
Yes,
with
sir.
the cool air and
doors also.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I have a question for you on doors. You do exterior doors as well.
Yes.
What is the best exterior door? I think wooden exterior doors are beautiful, but I'm not sure they're the most practical or efficient to put in.
Yeah, wood doors are beautiful, and we have some great options for custom wood doors right here in our local area. People that manufacture, and the options are limitless anymore. I mean, you can be very creative with what you do, but you're correct. It is a the highest maintenance item you can probably have on your whole house, possibly. And but what we always encourage people to do when we put in a new wood door for someone is give it a visual inspection a couple times a year. Just look at the finish, make sure the top coat's not starting to crack or blister. I mean, if you catch it at that point where the top coat's just starting to get a little rough or a little fuzzy, all you need to do is lightly sand it and put another top coat or two on it maybe. But if you let it get to the point where it's past the top coat and the wood is starting to fade, that's when you get into problems. I mean, you can address it and still save the door. You need to basically strip it down and restain it and re-top coat it. But the key is not to let it get to that point.
And don't they expand and contract quite a bit too,
They do. That's correct. But the newer doors, again, with the change of building products, they're using more substrates underneath the wood that reduce the expansion and contraction. They're using some structural engineered products under the wood, for the stiles and rails, and it greatly reduces the expansion and contraction rate of the doors. And that's what really breaks down the door or windows. Even clad windows, there's different types of cladding, roll form and extruded. When the wood starts moving behind the cladding or a wood door, it expands and contracts, and it opens up the joints where the doors or windows have been put together, and that's where moisture starts getting.
Yeah, and then
in.
you see little cracks and different things around the door, and you feel air coming through and stuff.
Yep.
To me, they're the most gorgeous
they're
doors.
beautiful.
I love them, but
they're probably the least efficient. I mean, they're fiberglass
and most expensive to
industry-
maintain, I would imagine.
definitely
Yeah.
to finish. The whole ball of wax. I mean, it's an expensive, high maintenance item, but it's beautiful. And in a lot of homes, it's the focal point of the house.
It is. Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah, when I was working at the lumber company, I mean, it wasn't nothing to sell a front door unit to a house for, you might spend $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 just on the front door alone.
Isn't that crazy?
And and people don't realize. Then you go to adding side lights and transoms and everything else. It's nothing to end up with $10,000 just in that front door. And it always made it difficult when you'd hand somebody a door catalog and they look, oh, I got to have that one. I got to have that one. And you say, well, that price is $5,000 or $6,000 on that door. They're like, they just stand there and look at you like,
what?
No way. Yeah, what?
Yeah.
And then you add on the price of finishing that door and maintaining it. Our last new house that we had out in Republic, we had a really nice wood front door, 8-foot tall, extra wide front door on it. And it was a chore to maintain that because the sun would beat down on it. It's hard to find a finish that's going to take all the weather and all the abuse. And so about every year or every other year for sure, you'd have to get out there and sand that down and put new finish and everything on it. So it is a chore to maintain.
Right.
And then I remember when the fiberglass doors came on the market, and everybody was just amazed at the fiberglass. And now you can get fiberglass doors that.
Oh, they look fantastic.
Oh yes.
You're limited on options. That's the only thing.
Sure.
I mean, it's not a custom door to meet your personal needs
Sure.
or architectural, but there's such a wide selection anymore. You can typically find something.
Yeah.
They're still not real cheap, but they're worth what you're paying for.
Yeah.
The quality's there, the insulation value's there. Even if the finish goes bad on a fiberglass door, it does not hurt the integrity of the door.
No, it
So
don't.
you can refinish those and brighten them up
Yeah.
again, make them look like new.
Yeah. And there's still some nice steel doors out there on the market too.
Yep. Steel doors are fiberglass is definitely taking over
Sure.
the door market. But
Yeah.
you're right. They have a lot of options for steel doors, but definitely I try to encourage people, especially if we're replacing or upgrading, to go to fiberglass because they're more energy efficient. They don't dent. They don't rust.
Sure.
They just lot more durable.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. 862-9977, 1-800-375-0056, or 417-838-3192 if you want to send me a text, and we'll talk about it on the air.
How would someone know if they needed to replace their front door, if they need to replace the window? What do they need to be looking for to see if maybe they're having a problem with something?
Kind of like we mentioned earlier, where the joints, where the pieces of the doors and windows come together, like in the seams. Usually you can test that visually. Sometimes you can see it. A lot of times on doors where the jamb meets the threshold at the bottom, that moisture is wicked from underneath, actually, wicked up into the jams or the brick mold, and that's where it starts coming apart. And if you're not sure, it's questionable, you're looking at it, you can always take a knife or some sharp object and poke on that wood, and it'll go in it like warm butter if it's rotten. And it may not look like it. It may look like it's perfect, but it may be rotten behind the paint or, so the substrate.
Does it help to put like those decorative kick plates or anything on them? Does that help keep the moisture out, or is that just a
That's
decorative
just
only?
decorative,
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
just an architectural item.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really help.
No, just goes
With
back
the-
to maintenance. Maintenance is the biggest thing. Proper installation, we see a lot of things that are not installed properly. And it's not always anyone's fault per se. I mean, techniques have changed over the years.
Sure,
And,
sure.
But my personal opinion, I think the biggest thing comes down to maintenance and taking care of your home like you would anything else. It's your biggest investment you have. Take care of it. I mean, I see people take better care of their cars or their dogs than they do their house.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. Now, when somebody needs say a new front door, and you tear the old one out and you replace it, is there any special type of flashings you do at the bottom? Anything special that you guys do to
Yeah.
help prevent any problems?
Well, yeah, we definitely, of course, kind of give a visual inspection. That's one thing when you're replacing anything, doors or windows. And especially if there's been a water issue, a rotting issue, there may be some hidden things that you can't see until you take the door or window out. So we kind of always examine, the subfloor, and sometimes it goes as deep as we have to get into the framing, to floor joists and rim boards.
Right.
And, I mean, sometimes we tear apart, a lot to make repairs.
Right.
And I mean, of course, that's the best time to do it. But yes, back to your original question, we do typically try to flash underneath the new doors and silicone underneath them. We try to take all the proper steps to insulate and seal the door in better than what it was.
Sure. Because that's can be a problem, especially if it's a door or even a window that faces a direction where you might get a lot of rain that blows against
The
it.
wind and rain combination is
Yeah.
the tough. A lot of times, we get calls, this window's never leaked before and it rained last night. And, well, we don't get a rain out of the northwest too often, but that window only leaked when we had a 40-mile-an-hour wind and
Yeah.
rain.
Yeah.
And it could be not necessarily, a lot of times we find it's not the window. It's maybe where the brick or stone meets the soffit,
Sure.
or it's the window has the caulking's bad around the window, or so. I mean, sometimes we have to go out and just do a water test,
Sure.
and we'll just. I mean, this is what it sounds like. I mean, we take a garden hose and we try to put water under pressure at certain points. Work our way from the bottom up, so we can find where
Right.
water starts infiltrating and try to evaluate it from there.
One of the another common problem that people they'll always blame the window, and it's not always the window's fault. Especially if they go and they've had old wood windows in a house, they go through and replace everything with new vinyl windows or whatever kind of insulated replacement windows. Then they start getting condensation on the inside of their house, on the actual inside of the glass. And I've had people say, well, these windows, they're condensating. and it's like, well, you're sealing things up
Right.
nice and tight. You got a lot of moisture. I always ask, are you doing a lot of cooking in your house? Do you take a lot of showers? Do you have a lot of house plants and stuff? And a lot of people don't realize that their house is tighter now,
Right.
and they may have condensation problems.
And they may need a dehumidifier at
Sure.
that point. You need to test the humidity in the house. And Mark, help me. I can't remember the exact stat. You may remember or not, but like an average family of 4 in a day's time between cooking and bathing, and it's something like 7 or 8 gallons of moisture that
something
goes
like that,
into
yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It is a
And
lot.
that moisture is going to collect at the coolest point.
Sure.
And typically, no matter if you have the best glass in the world, typically glass is still probably going to be the coolest, surface.
Yeah.
And
your house,
that is where condensation will form.
Yeah. And gas fireplaces, if you run a gas
Yep.
fireplace a lot, there's a lot of moisture in the gas. And if you have unvented, it's even worse. And so it puts so much moisture in the air.
Right.
And so it's not always, because I've seen brand and new houses are really bad because there is a lot of moisture in the house.
The sheetrock's curing, the
Yeah.
mud, paint,
Yeah.
everything's fresh and hasn't had
Yeah.
a chance to really
Yeah.
dry out yet.
Yeah, these new Anderson windows we put in, they're no good because there's water just running off of them. Well,
Yeah.
it's
Well, it's actually a good sign.
Yeah, yeah, really. And it's not the window. It's probably doing its job.
Because if they were not efficient and they were not sealed tight, the air's just going to pass
The
right
air's
through.
going to pass right
Yeah,
through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when everything's sealed up tight, that's when you could see some issues. And
Yeah.
and we mentioned earlier, the better they build houses, especially some of the ICF homes, insulated concrete forms, and the homes that are really tight, they have to put in air exchange units to bring fresh.
ERVs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you'd be an expert on that.
Yeah, I know about those.
And to exchange the air, take out the moist, damp air and bring in fresh, dry air.
Right.
Because the houses are so tight. Which, if you have the DRV, that's a great thing. But if you don't, it's an issue you need
Then you
to
have
address.
issues.
Yes.
Sure, you certainly do.
It might be something small as you need a dehumidifier or you need a DRV. So
Right. Have they extended the warranties on windows? What kind of warranty do you get on new windows anymore? With our industry, they've really increased the warranties on stuff. I don't know if they've done that on windows or
Windows. Since low E glass has been around, and that's pretty much the standard window glazing option anymore.
Yeah.
Everybody's still at 20 years on that.
20
Some
years.
is a full 100% replacement, 20 years. Some are prorated, starting
Sure.
at maybe 5 years, 10 years. Just depends on the manufacturer. Frame and components could be anything from a year to 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
Some companies offer lifetime on the hardware. It
Just
it
depends.
varies a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
But that's still some pretty. I mean, that's pretty good
Oh,
warranties.
definitely.
I mean,
think so.
if you're looking at 20 years,
Yeah, and,
Oh,
and
yeah.
typically, if you're going to have a seal failure on your insulated glass, it'll happen within the first 1 to 3 years.
Right.
And,
Right.
and if you get beyond that point, typically you probably won't see a failure. Not saying it won't happen, it does, but I mean,
Sure.
that's typically when something will happen.
Yeah.
Sure. We have a caller holding on. Let's talk to Jerome here in Greene County. Go ahead, Jerome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I just bought a house a year ago, and I don't think the windows are quite up to par. It was a 10-year-old house, and I think they were stock windows that the builder just put in all the houses, so I don't think they're really good quality, and they're not tilt out, so I can't clean them. I have one upstairs, and the others are all ground floor. Can you replace 1 or 2 windows at a time over a several-year period to help spread out the cost so you don't have to worry about financing and still get the same window? Do they change window styles? Do they change things so that you couldn't do that? Or are you not willing to do 1 or 2 windows at a time?
Oh, sure. I mean, we do that quite often. That's not a problem at all. And this kind of the second part of your question, yeah, window styles and manufacturers come and go, especially if it's a vinyl window. Those change a lot, especially with the downturn in the building industry and the economy the last 3-4 years. There have been quite a few vinyl manufacturers that have either gone out or restructured, and unfortunately, you can't get parts or service for them, and they need to be replaced. Probably have to do a complete replacement. And same thing on the wood window side. There's been several manufacturers that you may have a house that's only 4 or 5 years old, but the manufacturer's gone out of business, and parts and pieces are not interchangeable, and unfortunately, that leads to a complete replacement.
Yeah, and what good is a warranty if the company's not there?
Exactly, and it's unfortunate that it happens, but it does. But there are a lot of good, strong, reputable companies out there too. So I don't know. It's a personal choice what you want to do, or a budget choice. I've always felt or seen in this industry. I've been in it for 25 years, 26 years. That the reputable companies, you may pay a little more, but they're still here, and they probably will be here throughout whatever downturn we have until things pick up again.
All righty. What is your telephone number?
For us, it is 417-353-0865.
0865?
Yes, sir.
All righty. Thank you much. I appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerome. Good question. As since I've been involved in the industry, we've seen a lot of, especially vinyl window companies, come and go. And you're absolutely right. If you might pay a little more, but there's some companies out there that we both know is going to be there tomorrow. They're going to be there 10 years from now, or 15, 20, 100 years from now.
Right.
Because they've been around forever. They're good, reputable, solid companies. What good is that 20-year warranty if who you're going to get them from is going to be gone?
And the mainstays in this industry have been the wood window manufacturers, the
Right.
higher end wood, and they are starting to come out over the last several years. Again, consumer driven, I would say. They're coming out with vinyl windows or composite
Sure.
windows.
Yeah.
And so to me, that shows they're in it for the long haul. They're reputable. They actually put their names on their products. I mean, so many times we go
That's
into,
what I was going to ask you. A
Yeah.
lot of times you get windows and there is nobody's name on the window. And so 5 years from now, if you
Yep.
want to, you like, wonder who made this window.
Yep.
There
Pretty sure that's by design.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
yeah,
but-
that's what I've been told too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Or the best one was always, I'd have people call, say, well, I need a part for my window. Well, what brand of windows is it? Well, it's a Truth window. Well,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, there's-
Truth manufactured
oh.
hardware for hundreds of
And they
different
still
window
do.
companies. and
Truth
still
hardware
do.
is on everything, and that's but they put their name on it. And
Yeah.
usually, if it's with a reputable company, the manufacturer's name is on the window that not the operating hardware. We're talking about Truth there, but like the handles or sash
Sure. Right.
locks
Right.
somewhere, or even the glass. Some companies etch their logo or their
Like
name
Anderson.
in the glass.
Anderson always etches their logo in the glass.
Mhm.
You know it's an Anderson.
Or
you
if
know.
you see in the spacer between the insulated glass, a lot of companies will have some type of code there, not always their name, but you know that usually it goes hand in hand. If you see
Sure.
a name on the window, they're going to have some type of identification in the spacer, and that usually tells you right down to the minute that window, the day, the month when that window
Right.
was made, and they can trace it back, make sure it wasn't a huge problem, or if it was just an isolated incident.
Right.
So I mean, companies that have been around and will be around do things right, and
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, not to sound too brass or anything, but we say, with stuff like that, you pay me now or pay me later. I mean, if you buy something cheap
yeah.
and you want a cheap installation, you're going to be doing it again.
Sure.
And if you buy a good quality product and it's installed properly, hopefully, it lasts a good long time. You get the value out of that product and service.
Right. Right. So that's very important to look at. And so if a person's wanting to have all new replacement windows put in their house or doors, why all they got to do is call you. You can come out and show them what you have to offer. You can measure them all up and just completely take care of them.
Correct. And I'm not married to one brand like some companies are, like some of our competitors, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But I want to be flexible and versatile to offer the customer what fits their
What
needs.
fits their needs.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. And I feel like they're getting a fairer price that way too. I mean, if I'm selling just one window, I've got to make all I need to make off that one window. But if I can be flexible and be fair about my offerings, then I think everybody's better served by that.
Right. Now, if you lived in an area like on Walnut Street where there's certain criteria that you have to follow for the architectural design, you can help those folks
Oh,
out
you
too.
bet.
Yeah.
You bet. Yeah, there's so many options anymore. Architectural design, it's amazing.
Great. Great.
Yep.
Give out your number one more time.
417-353-0865.
And you want to tell them again about your Convoy of
Yes,
Hope promo
Convoy
this week?
of Hope fundraiser tomorrow, River Bluff Fellowship out on Evans Road between 65 and Springfield Lake. Doors open at 1, concert starts at 2. We got a whole day of great bluegrass, gospel, country music. It's going to be a fun deal. It all goes to Convoy of Hope. Don't need to bring your lawn chairs. It's in a nice auditorium, and so
Inside where it's nice and warm.
That's right. So come and help us support Convoy of Hope.
I think everyone should do that.
Great cause, Mark.
Yep.
Well, this is Home Repairs and Solutions. What do you got going on, Mary? Anything?
I might be babysitting tomorrow. That
Oh,
would be
that's-
okay.
that's always
the
fun.
grandkids are always fun.
There you go. That's always a good time.
Yep.
So, well, this is Home Repairs and Solutions. We're heard every Friday morning from 10 to 11 right here on AM 560 KWTO. Head. Well, Bob just leaned over the counter and he shook his head and said, "You need home repairs and solutions. Home repairs and solutions. They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house, they'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home repairs and solutions.